Welcome to the second episode of Sticks and Scotch. I'm your host, Rahul Krishna, and my co-host, Mark Lumen. We have a new guest with us today. His name is Caleb Mudford. He's a very active person who's helping rebuild downtown Texarkana, and he's doing a great job so far. And so we were going to talk to him more about that and other things, and yeah. But first, let's light up the sticks.
Mark's got the torch.
One reason we do this is we kind of thought whatever time it took us to smoke this is where we would end this podcast. But if you noticed our last one, we couldn't get through them for talking.
Yes, if you look at the last video that's posted, then those were some technical difficulties that we definitely have been working through. We'll probably work through some more this time, but you know, it's a learning process, don't you think, Mark?
Definitely. It was last week. So what do you think about that, Arturo?
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's the first time I've ever had one of these. Add it to the list.
Last time I brought some of those that Sarah got from those Cubans that she got from her last cruise.
Yep. Yeah, those were pretty good. That's
Yeah.
one of the ones that I brought with me.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess let's get started. Caleb,
Cheers.
cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
Glad you can make it.
Yep.
Yes.
Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, for sure.
Told you that was good scotch. It doesn't melt in his eyes.
Oh yes, brought to you by Royal Brockla.
Yeah. That's
Soon
right.
to be sponsor, hopefully.
Hey, that'd be handy.
Yeah. We need them. We need as many as we can get. Well, we can just get one.
Oh yeah, this one's sponsored. You know, if it's just broccoli, that'll be okay.
I know, right? Well, if you looked at the last canister, I don't know if they have the container.
Mhm.
It was talking about how it was the King Scotch back in the early 1800s.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And yeah, it's like the oldest Scotch around, I think.
Did
Kind
not
of
know
interesting.
that.
Or just one of them, anyway.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
But yeah. Some good stuff, though. Some good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's I was saying before we
Yeah.
went on. I can hardly stand the scotch that's got like the ashtray taste to it.
It's
yeah.
the peat.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
Kind of like an IPA.
Yeah.
Hold on, I drink IPA.
Ah. I'm sorry.
Matter of fact, I got one out of view over here. So
Keep them over there.
yeah, I got you. I got you.
No, but honestly, I've tried to like IPAs. I was like, eh.
I just don't know beer at all. So.
Yeah. Yes. Don't ever offer him one because.
I just did, and he said no, I don't drink it. So when you're not, you're usually a whiskey drinker, though, not really a scotch
Yeah,
drinker.
bourbon too,
Bourbon.
right?
Whiskey and bourbon.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, scotch is also whiskey, so all
Just filtered.
whiskey is scotch, or all scotch is whiskey, but not all bourbon is scotch, or however
yeah.
all that works.
Yeah, Scotch is just filtered differently.
Yeah.
and-
Well, I think.
But, yeah, same way with bourbon and whiskey, like all.
Well, I thought bourbon
Whiskey.
had to be manufactured in Tennessee.
There's, I think, I can't remember the
just
rules.
like a
There's like
little
5
region.
rules. It has to be aged like a certain year time frame. It has to come from, I think, Tennessee maybe, and then, or Kentucky. Kentucky, I think
Yeah.
is right. But aged in like white oak barrels or something like that. There's like 3 or 4, 5 rules for it to be classified as a bourbon whiskey, not just a regular whiskey.
What's your favorite?
Man, I don't know. I kind of like cigars. I drift here, there, and yonder,
Yeah.
but usually Blanton's is a solid go-to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The kind that's hard
shout
to
out to
The Blanton family.
While they're giving shout outs, I drank, we mentioned Hawkins last time. Their bar whiskey is Jim Beam. Fine with me. I know that's cheap stuff, but good for Mark. And we want to give a shout out this week, I think, to Eagle.
Oh yeah.
I was going to actually mention them when I brought up the Blantons, because when I was there Thursday evening with you, that was what I had. I had a Blanton's Old Fashioned, and it was great. I
was thinking maybe if they let us, we should probably try and do one episode down there.
Well, we could do it with Chris and Melissa.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd be up for it.
But the reason we didn't shout out last week was mainly because they just opened. They had a soft opening.
Well, yeah, their quote-unquote soft opening for our group was trial by fire more than anything.
I heard there was over 100 people.
There's over 150.
Kind of like this.
Oh, yeah. I ballparked it at 175 when I was talking to Chris, and he said that he thinks that was close to what the number was. So it was our biggest attended social that we've ever had. Obviously,
really?
Destination Downtown being much larger event, but as far as just one location, that was probably close to 175 people there.
Tell us about Destination Downtown.
Oh yeah, well, it's coming down the line.
When?
October 11th. We're moving it to a Saturday this year. So
well, before you start that, let's back up on exactly what you do downtown.
Mostly just patronize places.
No.
Come on.
Well, I mean,
he's being a little humble, folks.
Well, I mean, I work downtown, so I'm down there quite a bit. That's how obviously I met y'all and a bunch of other people. I mean, Mackie that gave me this bottle of Lagavulin. I mean, that's how I've developed a friendship with him, is being downtown a lot. But I've always, since I've moved back to Texarkana, I've been passionate about downtown and how to get it thriving again. And I was actually, for Destination Downtown, went and met with the Auto Museum, one of the guys there today, talking to him about having maybe some classic cars at Destination Downtown this year. It'd be the first time we've had them involved potentially, but I told him that when I see Downtown Texarkana, I still view it as like Johnny Cash and Elvis and a bunch of classic cars rolling down the street.
Has so much potential.
Back in the heyday when Texarkana was popping. I mean, it's getting back slowly, and I'm very excited to see what's happening downtown. And even if I've got to minute help with that, just doing what I can, like I said, patronizing different places.
What do you think happened? Why did it kind of? Because I mean, if you look at all the buildings, like you said, it's a very, very nice area with a lot of potential, and that potential was filled at some point. It was very vibrant. Like, what do you think happened? For as long as I was growing up, I don't remember downtown being much until recently. And what do you think happened?
I think obviously the interstate had a lot to do with it. You move the traffic and the money essentially up farther north, and downtown truly became like a destination. Like, you weren't going there unless you either worked there or really needed to. And now with all the programs that the city's done to get people living down there again, they're spending some money back downtown, having some various businesses, the little shops and boutiques and the internet obviously helped also to get the marketing better.
And for people that don't know where we're talking about downtown all the time, we're talking about that watch outside of this area. It's Texarkana. And I remember when they built the mall out there.
Mm-hmm.
And when they built the mall out there, north of Texarkana was all farms and that kind of stuff. They sold that property to the mall, and then that farm on the other side, Richmond's or whatever it was, that they sold their place, and that's where
Gibson and everything is now.
Where everything goes in. So it just pulled everything out.
And to that point, I mean, obviously in Texarkana, the hospital is a is a pretty big deal, and there's certainly some quote unquote controversy there, and having it been delayed, and Krista's taken over now, and the worries that they had already started the project and who's going to finish it and that kind of thing. But the hospital over there honestly terrifies me a bit for that exact same point of
Sucking more out of downtown.
because I mean you think when you have a hospital that size, you're going to have a lot of. I mean, obviously there's developers already there anticipating because Starbucks, I didn't see their business plan for that location, but I would suspect, hey, we know we're about to have a hospital with a bunch of doctors and nurses that are going to want to have our coffee. This is going to be a prime location, so they went ahead and jumped on it before even the build with the hospital, and you got a hotel that's springing up out there.
Oh yeah.
So that's one of my things that still kind of terrifies me about downtown is really hoping for downtown to get its legs under it before that area grows once again, because I'm sure with the money that there's going to be a lot more businesses popping up over there, and I'm sure there's people already having business plans drawn up and civil plans for doing different venues and possible attractions for that area to be able to, well, not necessarily venues, like not like we're getting a amphitheater or anything crazy like that, but just different stuff that might pull people away from going downtown. Because I mean, downtown Texarkana is always going to be a bit of a niche type thing.
And you mentioned downtown. When I first came here, it was bustling. It was the place to be. They had a place called the Triangle. First time I ever saw a snooker table in my life, I wasn't but 18 years old, but all of downtown where Hopkins is, you know, it was Hopkins.
The feed store.
And it was a pet store where the little vacant part is on the end, but downtown was vibrant back then. A long time ago.
When do you think it started?
Well, in the mall, I came in,
Like
first time
time
I ever
frame?
came here was 1978,
Okay.
or 78. And downtown was, as a matter of fact, I stayed in the Grim when we come to town. The Grim was a hotel, and we stayed at the Grim. And now the Grim is condos or apartments. But everything down J.C. Penney's, they were building the mall. So J.C. Penney's and all the main stores were downtown, Dillard's and all that stuff. And then with the mall coming in, everything moved out. And when everything moved out, town went down. Downtown went down. But I came from Tyler, which is not far from Texarkana, about 120 miles, and their downtown never went down, even though they moved south with their malls and all that kind of stuff. The difference was, like you said, the hospitals are right there by downtown, so it really helped that. Longview's the same way. The hospital in Longview's really close to downtown. Downtown Longview is still a happening place, and Texarkana just went down, but thanks to, and I could name the people, you know.
Hold on.
You know, I mean, really and truly, there is probably 24 people that really poured a lot of effort, and some preceding Caleb. The shop tile. I mean, you know, there was a time when they started swapping out, doing favors for each other. Like the railroad built a fence on that back, and in return they gave them the dock where they do the
Front Street plazas.
and then they donated. You know, I mean, they started donating a few things. But that was because people in the community started asking for it, you know, and all they had to do was ask. And a lot of times people don't understand, all you have to do is ask.
Yeah, that is true.
And A little controversial, but I attribute a lot of it to Joe Gay and Justin and them with Cross Ties. I was inside of Cross Ties one night, and there was some event going on. I think they may have had a concert that night, and I was standing upstairs looking out on the street with Joe, and I told him, I was like, look, man, like I think what y'all did here is great, and has really shown the spotlight back on Texarkana and downtown Texarkana specifically with the events that they have going on. I know Miss Lamesa owns that building now, and I think they've got some different things in the works. But I do think that they were certainly instrumental in inspiring people to want to come back downtown and check it out. And to that point, also, I'm gonna give Eagle a shout out again last night because I went back downtown last night after their official grand opening just to people watch because that's one of my favorite things to do downtown for sure. And I was sitting outside of Wild Hare with a friend, and we were just kind of watching the ongoings of the street, and I saw that I can recall directly 4 different groups that clearly don't meander around downtown very often. You can just, from the conversations that they were having, they're like, oh, hey, look at this, whatever. Like it was almost brand new to them. I mean, I'm sure they go to Hawkins and have dinner or Zapatas or whatever, but as far as actually drifting around downtown, that was definitely their first time to do it, it seemed. And I was thinking of it this morning that it was kind of like the Eagle effect with them having their brand new location and people that might not necessarily be going downtown and walking around, that, like I said, they might have dinner or something or a drink, but after they left the Eagle that last night, clearly they were walking around and like checking it out. One group ended up walking into the Hare, like, hey, like we've never been in this place. Let's check it out too. So that was neat to see last night, and hopefully that's a trend that keeps going, and not necessarily even attributed to one business, but to just a mentality that hopefully people in Texarkana have that, hey, why just have dinner? Why don't we go down here and listen to a band down at 1923 Banana Club or something?
I mean, listen, I've lived at a lot of places. I do notice that Texarkana is probably the easiest place to drive around that I've ever lived at. And, you know, I think there's plenty of food for everybody.
No,
you know,
yeah.
I think just because you hang out at Robinson or Richmond doesn't mean you can't go downtown.
No.
And like,
I want to say something.
I mean, hell,
about
this
that.
man over here, by the way.
the any place over north of town, not knocking north of town, but it's usually loud, very loud. And I'm talking about patio. If you're on a patio at any place on that interstate,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot hardly talk to one another because of the noise. We have our downtown has more secluded. It's a lot more eclectic group of individuals. I mentioned this on our first podcast, but what I always loved about Texarkana is this is a huge sports town, and of course the Razorbacks, Longhorns, LSU, but people gather to watch and talk and discuss that, and it's a big draw for people, you know.
Maybe that's what we should do with this podcast. Just try to promote downtown.
I'm in. But yeah, it's neat to see the growth because kind of circling back to Destination Downtown, I've been fortunate enough to be involved with it since the beginning. A lot of people attribute me with the idea. It was not my idea. It was another gentleman named Caleb, but Caleb Pittman, he was one of the ones that got me involved.
Who came up with the name?
Libby Hernandez, actually.
Okay.
But so I got involved with G2IP, which is what linked TXK is now, and he had the idea for he wanted to do a pub crawl, and the chamber, being who the chamber is, they, not knocking the chamber, obviously I'm blessed to sit on the board, but they didn't want to be associated with a pub crawl, and which is a very fair thing. I mean, Link TXK, we don't really advertise it as a quote unquote pub crawl because it's more than that. But
Bar
Caleb.
hopping.
Yeah.
Pittman went back to the chamber after he talked to a couple of businesses downtown and said, "Hey, what if we have a food aspect and it's not just about the drinking? Because I mean, these places there certainly is more to just the drinking." And I tell everybody that wants to try to attend Destination Downtown that says, "Well, I don't drink alcohol." That's perfectly fine. I'm not saying you gotta drink alcohol to come to Destination Downtown. It's the complete opposite. We make sure that there are non-alcoholic options. It's more of a sampler of downtown. So that's where the idea came from. And the first year we had literally, because it's all that was down there essentially, was Verona, Pecan Point, and Hopkins. We had 3 stops,
Zapata.
and I think there was maybe 50 people total.
Oh, yeah, Zapatas don't participate.
Well, and to that point, they were kind enough to open their patio last year. Everybody told me it can't be done. They don't want to open their patio. Well, I talked with Chico and Manuel, and they were very gracious and opened their patio for us and allowed Chase Rains to play some tunes out there. And everybody that I saw that went out on their patio had a great time, and it was kind of like seeing a unicorn almost. Of, hey, the patio door of Zapata's is open up. Let's check it out. I mean, and I'm hoping that's one of the conversations I haven't had yet this year for Destination Downtown. Is I'm hoping that they will continue to open their patio and also have a band, and maybe that we can work out a deal with them as far as like some chips and salsa or margaritas or whatever they want to do, because that's what Destination Downtown is about. Is for one, we pay all these businesses. A lot of people think that they pay us to participate. Absolutely not. The guy at the auto museum asked me today, he's like, "Hey, well, how much do we have to pay to participate in this thing?" I was like, "Absolutely nothing." I was like, "If anything, if y'all have your cars and you want to do a car show, we would potentially look into having like a cash prize for whoever to entice some of your guys to come
You
out.
can win a free car.
It's going to be a Hot Wheels, but
Like and follow, and you'll be entered in for a drawing to win a free car.
free Hot Wheels car.
And subscribe.
You need to start with that disclaimer right off the front. Do not sue us because we really don't know.
Well, we really don't have any money.
I have $3.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a rundown of Destination Downtown this year. If y'all want to do that, I mean, I can
Yeah, well, here.
give you the
Yeah, go ahead.
insider scoop on what we're looking at so far this year.
Okay, hold on. But I heard there's a little controversy behind it.
No controversy. We just had to move the date. We had there's another group that's doing some good stuff downtown too, and didn't realize that both of us had the same date, and we are or have looked at moving our date to the October 11th, and just trying to accommodate everybody the best we can and make sure that everybody's event goes as smoothly as it can. So,
Okay.
yep. And to that point, Main Street is having Oktoberfest on the weekend before, so that would be I guess October 4th. So, and that's a free event. Our event is ticketed. I mean, yeah, you can come down there and not pay for a ticket. Don't recommend that option, but
Don't be that person.
Yeah,
but I mean, downtown we don't shut down. We don't have like fencing or anything and blocking people off from coming and meandering downtown. But Oktoberfest itself is for sure a truly a free event and more family friendly than ours.
I'm going to back up one more time. I know that I hate to get in the middle of it, but you didn't really give us your history, Caleb.
No.
Are you
Well,
from here?
Yes. So I was born and raised. Y'all probably gonna think differently than me now, but born and raised on a farm down in Fouke, and
Okay.
I love that.
well, yeah. Sometimes it gets a bad rep, but I mean, Fouke's a great place to grow up. I mean, my family, they I wouldn't have traded my raising for anything. I mean, my mom would certainly be very disappointed to see me sitting here drinking a scotch and smoking a cigar, but I'm a 36-year-old man, you know.
We'll send her a link.
Yeah, she's not gonna watch, but you know,
She can subscribe.
It'll be a phone call. You know?
And you mentioned moving away. Where did you move away to?
So I did 2 years at TC. I knew I wanted to go to college. I've always been good at building things, been interested in building things, and honestly, most days I would rather be out in the field swinging a hammer or whatever, but also didn't want to be an old man by the time I was 40, so I knew I wanted to pursue higher education, and civil engineering is just kind of where I landed. So did my 2 years at TC with the thoughts of going to University of North Texas. So after I did my 2 years there, went to 1 year of University of North Texas doing their construction engineering program, which was going to be more of like building houses and buildings and that kind of thing. Well, the program ended up somewhat getting mothballed the year I was out there, so I was panicking, like, well, what do I do now? So ended up finishing up at University of Arkansas, Fayetteville, and I still have some very close friends that I met when I was in school there, and hindsight's 2020, and wish I'd have started there from the get-go, but at the same time, you never know how those ripple effects translate into your life, and if I'd have started out there, I might not have met the friends that I have now that are my
Everything
lifelong
happens
friends.
for a reason.
Then you moved back here, got a job
Well,
at civil engineering.
No, I actually...
Sorry.
No. So when I was living in Fayetteville, going to school my senior year, that's when I started to look at internships and so forth, and I graduated in December of 2012. Well, my friend David and I found Garver, which is a company that's based out of a civil engineering company based out of Little Rock. They have an office in Tulsa, which is 2 hour drive from Fayetteville, and they had a couple of job openings for like entry level civil engineers. So somehow we ended up with an interview on the same day. So well, let's just carpool. We're broke college students, so we carpooled out there together, and both essentially interviewed for the same job, knowing that they might only offer one of us. Well, when we finished up the entry interview, where it was just he and I in like separate rooms kind of deal, they ended up bringing us in the conference room with several other people, and they're like, hey, he's like, we're gonna send you both offers for positions, and but one of the main guys that interviewed us said, how awkward would it have been if we'd have offered one of you and not the other since y'all rode together? Like, well, it'd have been fine, but I drove, so I wasn't really worried about it. But he ended up going to Little Rock. I stayed in Tulsa for 2 years, and ended up had some unfortunate things happen while in Tulsa, and had a boss that wasn't my favorite boss of the time. One of the ladies that worked out there that was quote unquote one of my bosses also, I had essentially like an exit interview with her over a lunch one day, and she was essentially trying to get me to stay and tell her what was going on and that kind of thing. And truth be told, if she was in charge, I would likely still be in Tulsa or still working for the same company. But long story short, got a job offer in Little Rock, went to Little Rock, worked for a year, and had a really bad day at work one day, as people do. And I called one of my friends that I used to work with in Tulsa, and was basically just griping about my day. And he said, well, why don't you call my dad's firm in Texarkana? And I was like, man, and he's originally from Texarkana as well. I was like, man, I think the same about Texarkana as you do. I don't really want to move back until maybe I have a family or that kind of thing. And he said, well, he's like, you never know, like, phone call never hurts. Okay, so, I mean, that transitioned into me working at MTG in Texarkana, and they do a lot of, probably 90% of the development work, like your Starbucks and different businesses around town that have to have civil engineer plans.
So you came, what year to that?
That was 2016 that I moved back and started working with MTG, and they were very gracious with, and since their development, it it makes sense for their engineers to be involved in community. So they were adamant about me getting involved with different groups, even though that was one of the things that I'd always told myself, well, if I move back to Texarkana, I'm gonna do something about the things that I don't like. Like, I'm at least gonna get involved and try to make an effort. So I initially started trying to reach out to GTYP at the time and couldn't get anybody to call me back. Had no idea how to get any information out of them. So I pretty much gave up on that. Well, Leadership Texarkana, which is another group that I'm involved in, they offer classes that it's not necessarily a leadership class that you would expect. It honestly is geared a lot around networking and learning about Texarkana, and even if you've lived here for 30 years, if you go through that course, you're going to learn something. Well, it does require you be off work one Tuesday a month for like 6-7 months. Well, MTG was like, hey, look, we're going to pay for this class for you. We want you to go meet some people, get re-plugged in. So through Leadership Texarkana, one of the G2IP board members was actually in the same class that I was in, Christy Loomis. I think you might know her. And I gave her a hard time after I got to know her a little bit through LT. And look, like, I've tried to reach out to y'all a dozen times probably. Can't get anybody to call me back. Nobody emailed me back. She said, well, come to a board meeting. I'm like, well, I don't even know anything about your group. Well, showed up to a board meeting. Next thing I know, after like 2 meetings, they were desperate for people at the time. Like, I was on the board, and unfortunately at the time G2IP was going downhill real quickly, and I think it was 2019 that Caleb Pittman, the guy I spoke of earlier that came up with the idea with Destination Downtown, he was the president, I was the vice chair. I mean, we weren't getting hardly anybody to show up to our events. Like the social we had at the Eagle this Tuesday, we had 175 people show up for the Link TXK thing. Well, G2IP at the time, we were doing good to have 20 people show up. And
Gotta start somewhere.
It stood for what?
Greater Texarkana Young Professionals. And that organization, it's still, I guess, on paper exists, but it was moved into Link TXK.
Yeah.
It evolved into Link TXK, and now we're our own standalone organization.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's 20 people showing up to events, and it was around this time of 2019, and I was very burnt out with the group. I was spending a fair amount of my own money to try to float these events and have people showed up, because Texarkana is difficult, in my opinion, especially if you're in the younger crowd, to get plugged in, and with various nonprofits around town, and knowing like who to connect to, depending on how you want to be involved.
I can honestly say, and I know that we could bring the other people to testify that until y'all came downtown, it was pretty much, other than some Facebook posts, you know, like events going on at Hop, you know, a few places like that. It was not well organized or well communicated what was going on. I think it's communicated better now. And what means do y'all use? What do you try to communicate? So if anybody's listening, and we were trying to figure out where your events are and what your you know, what's going on, Facebook.
Facebook primarily, Link, so LNK, Facebook made us put a space for whatever reason, but LNK space TXK is our Facebook page, and if you want to just reach out to us directly, it's lnktxk@gmail.com.
And y'all are always trying to get more participants,
Oh,
or
yeah.
more, and it, can I be a
Of
part
course.
of it?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
used
And
to
those-
be young people.
Yeah, and that's
say-
part of the reason why we changed the name, was for one,
Yeah, not young professionals.
to get rid of the young
Yeah.
and the professional
Yeah,
name,
yeah.
because there was kind of this
We need
stigma.
bodies.
Exactly. Do you have a pulse? You can join up.
Yeah. We just,
But-
yeah. You
but
got,
we did
you
have
got
the-
money, you got an idea, you got the connections. Come on.
Oh yeah. And that's one of the primary reasons we got rid of the stigma of the young and the professional, because on both points, we had people that Eric Kane always calls himself our seasoned ambassador
Yeah.
because of the young in the name. And I was like, well, you can't really claim that anymore because we don't have young in the name. He's like, oh, I'm still the seasoned ambassador.
Yeah.
And then professional aspect, I mean, Texarkana is a working town, and that's the kind of people
Yeah.
I grew up around, and honestly, my kind of people at the end of the day. That the guys out at Cooper / Goodyear, whatever they're calling themselves these days, and sweating for a living and actually putting in hard work. I mean, they're probably 50 or 60% of the town as far as people that are employed in this area. That we are a blue collar type town, and we wanted to get rid of that quote unquote professional because we didn't want people thinking that, oh, well, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a doctor, like I can't be associated with this group. No, absolutely not. Like that's one of the reasons why I was glad that Natalie Copeland, our chair, decided to take on that role, because Natalie, as you both fully aware, has more connections with a bigger strata of people than I've ever met, certainly in this town.
I'm not aware.
And back to what I said earlier, when I first came to this town many years ago, the bar that we went to at the time had doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, and Cooper, and I mean, you take one end of the spectrum to the other, and what brought them was the sports. I mean, they'd all belly up to the same bar, and their passion was the same. And
Yeah.
that was either Razorbacks, Longhorns, or LSU. I mean, Tigers. So,
No, and to that point, I don't really follow sports a whole lot myself, but I was kind of excited to see that Arkansas State is playing Fayetteville,
Right.
Arkansas,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
War Memorial this year. I think that's going to be awesome. I think it's the first time in history that's ever happened.
yeah, well, I'm fixing to do. I'm fixing to go against the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. They used to have LSU in Arkansas at War Memorial
Yeah.
every other year, and it was probably, and that's when Arkansas would beat LSU. I don't care if LSU was number one;
Mhm.
they could beat a Miracle on Markham. You know. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, the tailgating out there was top notch. I mean, it's fun in Fayetteville too, but something about on
Yeah,
the
it's
golf
better
course
than Little
or
Rock,
yeah.
yeah,
More land. I
yeah,
guess.
more land spread out.
Yeah.
People having a good time.
As opposed to a parking lot.
Yeah. But yeah, but
But
So
they used to have
how-
good teams, not just LSU. They used to have like Tennessee and other.
had to mix it up. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely now it's just more about money.
Oh
So,
And they lose money playing
They moved
there.
it back to, I think they moved it back to Fayetteville because more seating, more money, and all that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff. And then Arkansas started losing to LSU every year. So, I mean,
yeah.
go fix
Then
it.
it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
yeah. But
It does if you're.
We're
an
coming
Arkansas
back.
fan.
We're coming back, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them are, let's be clear about this. Arkansas, right?
yes, sir.
Arkansas,
Texas.
Boo. Anyway.
All right, well, back to
Yeah.
destination
Back to
downtown. And,
Yeah,
yeah, so
yeah. Yeah,
2019 things were with G2IP were going way downhill quickly, and to the point that I was fed up with it. I was busy with my job, trying to build a career in Texarkana, and Mike Malone was the president of the Chamber of Commerce at the time, and I basically let known my disgruntledness to him, and Joey Martin was certainly part of that conversation as well. And like, look, Caleb, like this group is very important. Caleb Pittman was actually transitioning to moving to Dallas, so I guess the head of the organization at the time was leaving, and I pretty much just let it known like, hey, let's just let it die. You know, maybe a few years we can bring it back. But they're like, no, like we need to see this thing through. Well, I turned Mike down a couple of times as far as taking over and so forth, but that was, like I said, around the time where it was called Taste of Downtown at the time when Pittman was doing it. And I told him, I was like, hey, let's just let this thing die. We're not going to fool with having Taste of Downtown this year. But since it was kind of his baby, he went around to these places and like, oh yeah, it's like we're for sure doing it. me and other Caleb, we're going to do it or whatever. And since my name was then associated with it, I went and decided, you know what, basically one last ride kind of deal. Bill Skurlock, who unfortunately we lost last year, he was, if I were to point to any moment that, for me anyways, that kept Taste of Downtown and inevitably Destination Downtown alive, it was a conversation with Bill Skurlock at Pecan Point, which is some of my absolute favorite memories in Texarkana. Was sitting at Bill's bar with him talking about flintlock guns or whatever he wanted to talk about. But that night I'd gone in there and I was pretty frustrated with the whole situation and just wanted to quit basically, and told Bill what was going on. And by the end of that conversation, Bill had talked me into, you know what, let's just see how it goes. Just one more. He Hopkins and Verona, I'm certain all of them that year kind of took it on the nose or the chin a little bit with the financial aspect of things and helped to make it work. And that year, 2019, I think we had roughly 100, maybe a little bit better, close to 200 in attendance. And then Mike and Joey with the chamber reapproached me and said, "Hey, look, like y'all got a lot of momentum going. Let's keep that going." So,
and that's when we moved into COVID. I mean,
yes,
that was right
in COVID.
And
yeah. But we were fortunate with G2IP at the time to have Rockstar board that understood when we talked about revamping this thing. Like, look, this is going to be very much a working board. That you're not just going to be able to show up to the board meetings and hang out. Like, you're going to have to go out there and hustle and do stuff. Probably
sell this thing.
Yes, sell it, contribute probably some of your own money, certainly your time, and that's why we have successes, because the people from 2019, 2020 that really pulled through and were dedicated to making it work. Well,
yeah, I can get up out and go get us some ice if you'd like. So.
Yeah. Hey, we can cut this out, by the way. So let me pause it real quick.
So when we turn it back on.
All right. So take two, which it is what it is. We're still learning, folks, but
We had to refresh in our.
yes, we had to refresh our drinks and light up our cigars, and actually probably pull the mics up a little bit because
little drift.
apparently they were just sinking.
Yeah,
Yeah, we need y'all in the comments to let us know.
we compared that to something, but
Yeah,
we won't talk about it here.
yeah.
So, back to our last thought.
Yeah, so transitioning from D2IP to Link TXK, very long story, won't keep rambling about it, but we, a lot of hard work by a lot of people is what you see with Link TXK today. And like I mentioned before, we did end up leaving the chamber, but it wasn't anybody upset. It was just, we've grown to the point that it made more sense for us to be a standalone nonprofit. We have a great working relationship with the chamber. Robin Hickerson, who is now the president of the chamber, is doing a phenomenal job with the chamber. And like I said, I'm happy to see that the growth that they're having and the connection she's making, because I think the chamber is very important to our community. And I mean, a rising tide raises all ships, and I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of these different organizations around town that are gaining a lot more momentum, because it's certainly not just us. Like I mentioned earlier, the group with Leadership Texarkana, and kind of to hit on your point about talking about different events around town, Leadership Texarkana has GoTXK as one of their marketing aspects, and at gotxk.org there's a community calendar, and any group that has an event or even a meetup or whatever, you can post that on a community calendar on the GoTXK page.
Yeah, I've got that on my bookmark actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty helpful.
Oh yeah. And
So,
it's
if
the
you
only
wanna
community
know
calendar I know of.
If
Yeah.
you want to know what's going on downtown, you go to that site.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always try to post our stuff. Destination Downtown actually isn't posted on there yet, just because of, like I mentioned earlier, the date hang up, and we'll have it posted within the next couple of weeks on that calendar. But that calendar is a great resource to people that are wanting to get involved in Texarkana, see what's going on. I think like track with the new building they have, they offer classes. I'm pretty sure they offer or they update that calendar to the classes that they're offering, so that people that want to like do pottery or paint or whatever can go check out track, which is another one of the great aspects of downtown that we haven't really hit on is the art side. David Peavy has the 1894 gallery. Joseph Raymond also downtown with his art gallery, because I mean it's great to have a nightlife, but the arts, not only the music aspect, the actual like canvas work that those folks do is incredibly important to Texarkana and having a good diverse downtown. So.
Yes, I think it's, and I mentioned it before, an eclectic group of individuals versus other locations in town that's just kind of pretty much like just newer stuff, you know, that they don't go with diversity and those aspects of it. Love, you mentioned Peavy. I think Peavy would be a good person for us to talk to one day and in depth, because he's done a lot for downtown.
He has certainly contributed a lot to downtown and continues to contribute a lot to downtown. And we're excited for everything that keeps going.
What's in the future? You know?
Well, I do know, or I was in attendance for the chamber hosted the State of Downtown the other day, and they had David Orr and Tyler Richards, which are the city managers for Texas and Arkansas, and they gave some insights on some things. So there's some revitalization projects in the works. The old Sears building is going to be a housing development. Main Street has posted I forget the property owner name, but next to Beauty Bar and kind of Cafe Lucille area, that building that they've cleared out, that's being developed. Off the top of my brain, I can't think of what it's going to be, but that is in the works also. There's a lot of moving parts, and I mean everybody wants to be a couch critic or whatever, but you know there's
rendition of that. It's like 3 apartments that are going to be right next to the Beauty Bar, and overlook the patio of Cafe Lucille's.
Yeah, that's a neat spot.
Let me ask you this: what would be like? What would be your I'm done moment? That's obviously not happening. In your what's your goal? What's your end goal? Be like
so when it comes to just downtown in general, or like our destination
for downtown.
Your vision for downtown, yeah.
Well, kind of circling back, that I think I mentioned earlier that downtown to me is always the heartbeat of Texarkana,
right.
And it certainly had the years where things kind of fell off the table and it wasn't as attended and so forth. But back in the heyday of Texarkana, when you had like Johnny Cash coming and play in the Municipal Auditorium, Elvis, and several other, like, it was on the way to Louisiana Hayride. I mean, I don't think we'll ever truly get back to the level that they had in like the late 50s and 60s, but
we got to move the graveyard.
Just say,
like I'm gonna run for mayor, and I don't plan on winning.
Roll for mayor. There we go.
That's just gonna be my platform.
Remove the jail. I mean,
yeah. And I hear, I mean, that's certainly something that people gripe about all the time, and it is something that probably should eventually be considered, but at the end of the day, they're not having like jailbreaks.
But you
put the jail in the graveyard.
Yeah. Well, you could take the jail and turn it into condos.
Oh,
just kind of make them like overnight stay, maybe a hotel.
Yeah. And that's probably that would be an interesting little. I don't know if that would be a hotel, more of like one of those. What are the dominatrix ladies, you know.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that
So
could be an option.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah, we don't have that yet. You know, you need to look into that. You can buy a bi-state and turn it into
A niche,
Mark's House of Pain. There you go.
That's appealing.
But yeah, bi-state obviously is one of the things that people point to all the time as far as like a detriment to downtown. But the number one thing that I hear all the time is the homeless population, because there are the homeless shelters and Salvation Army and so forth, and I hear about it probably at least once or twice a week. But my deal is I work downtown, so I'm spending most of my life downtown.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big deal
no,
down
it's-
there. I've seen a lot
Go to
worse.
Shreveport. Go
Yeah.
to Dallas. I
Yeah.
mean,
And
I
that's
don't think
my
the homeless
deal.
population
Little Rock,
in downtown
Yeah.
is bad at
Yeah.
all.
I was having that conversation with a girl on the patio of Hopkins probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she was complaining about the homeless because there just happened to be somebody sitting at the bus stop across the street from Hopkins, and they weren't causing any problems or causing a fuss or anything, and they're just
They were
a
just there.
downtrodden person, just bad on their luck, happened to be there, and it was convenient for her to point to it at the time. And I circled back and pulled a fast one on her because she had just told me about a trip that she and some of her girlfriends had made to Nashville, Tennessee. Not knocking Nashville or Austin or anything, but you have that populace in every single city, no matter the size. But Texarkana does a great job of
It's part of the ambiance.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, like I said, knock on wood, I've never had any problems out of those people. I've had more problems with just some random people upset that I parked too close to their car or something like that. Just silly stuff that you get any part of town. So when people try to point to that as their reasoning for not coming downtown, I'm quick to put them in their place, and that's not a legitimate excuse in my book. But with destination downtown, so since we only got just a little bit left and so forth on this, I'll give y'all a rundown of what I know that is confirmed with destination downtown this year, and that way viewers can get a little behind the curtain look before we make any formal announcements. So this year we're moving it to a Saturday. It's our first year to have it on a Saturday, and the ultimate end goal with Destination Downtown when we started 7 years ago now was that we want to have like a music festival level event in downtown Texarkana where we close off a lot of the streets, and hopefully we are able to either, if we have tickets, that they're affordable to anybody that wants to come, or they're free through sponsorships. And we've been very, very methodical every single year about growing it. And the great thing is that downtown Texarkana has grown with our event, and it's been a great growth for both organization, or I say organization, downtown Texarkana and us, that we're able to include new businesses as downtown grows, and that helps us turn the volume up just a little bitty bit with our event. And
And Texarkana has great talent. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
musical talent. I'd start naming them, but I'd leave somebody out. But
Oh.
there's a dozen bands, or the talent in this area is
oh,
exceptional.
yeah, and we try to make sure that, because our event last year we had a little over 500 people as far as ticket holders. We probably had more than that, certainly, that were just around, and there's probably 20 people I know of that like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, how do we get involved with this event tonight? And like, hey, he's like, you can just buy, we're sold out of our general admission tickets, but you can buy entertainment only, get your wristband, and in all the places. So to that point, I'll talk about our ticket structure, that we haven't set prices. We're having a meeting on Tuesday at Hopkins to discuss all this, sponsorships and ticket pricing. But we'll have 3 tiers of tickets, essentially. We'll have a general admission ticket, which, like I said, just gets you the wristband, and basically that gets you in the door anywhere you want to go that night. So some places are now charging cover charges to get in, like
With
Hopkins.
with the band?
with the band, like
What?
I know,
Hold
it's
on.
crazy. Like, you go to
Yeah.
Dallas, it happens all the time.
well, let me ask you this, because I don't know. Do you pay the band? Do y'all pay the
Yes, we pay the bands, we pay the restaurants, anybody. That's something that I've been adamant about from the beginning, that we don't want anybody to lose money on our event. We try to support not only the businesses, but the bands. Like we're not asking for a freebie.
So to the viewers, y'all don't just, y'all are not making money. Y'all collect this money to pay.
Yeah,
The businesses.
And in full transparency, we do make a little bit. It ain't a whole lot, but that money that we make from previous year, we reinvest it into. So that way, like we can bring, because this year we were looking at maybe bringing somebody that was popping off on like the Texas country scene or whatever. Because I know the city is helping out with having Tracy Lawrence come in November. Well,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if the viewers know, but Tracy Lawrence is a very expensive band to bring into Texarkana, and I mean things aren't free. We don't have anybody floating us, so that's why the profits from the event, we make sure. I always, after the event, I make sure to go back downtown the following day. For one, to walk the street, make sure we don't have any trash left. For two, I talk to the businesses that were in a part of our event the previous night or the previous week while it's still fresh on my brain and say, hey, how'd everything go? And do we need to make any adjustments for next year? And that's part of the reason why Christian Mackey's become a great friend of mine, because back when all this started, I didn't know Mackey from anybody else, but there's a couple times that
Anybody else that does not
Christian
know
Mackey,
Christian,
just
he
tell-
is
yeah.
the manager. He manages Hopkins.
superstar at Texarkana.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and he won't admit it, but he is.
Yeah.
But having conversations with
great
those,
guy.
oh yeah, but having conversations with those businesses and like, look, was there anything that we need to change? And then also on that aspect, the monetary side, I make sure, hey, we ended up having more people than we thought. And I mean, those businesses, the whole goal is to give people a sample of downtown and hope that they have a great experience. So like Paul at Verona, every year, that guy's a trooper. He's sitting out front, he's got his little patio area blocked off, and he's just handing out meatballs and wine. He doesn't even check for tickets,
Yeah.
to his credit. And I'll make sure, like, hey, I know you gave away more than what we paid for. Are you whole? And I want to make sure that he's not losing money, Hawkins not losing money, because if we did in fact have any profits, we want to make sure that the businesses that are graciously opening their doors to us for this event aren't losing money, and they're not having, not that I think that this has ever happened, like closed door conversations like, oh, well, we need to reconsider doing Destination Downtown because we lost money. Like I do not want that to be able to even be contemplated as a conversation. So
Appreciate the transparency on the finance part, because I think a lot of people think
Oh, yeah.
somebody's
Yeah, trying to profit off of it,
trying
yeah.
to profit off of this.
Yeah.
And
And a lot of
simple
people
truth
would.
is,
Oh,
but
yeah.
the simple truth is, Caleb and this organization is just trying to promote coming downtown, pretty
Yeah.
much out of their dedication and their love of downtown.
okay. I mean, our group puts in an incredible amount of time and money building these relationships that we have with these businesses as to why they, because I'm not trying to single anybody out, but I don't think Zapata's would open their patio for us had Manuel and Chico not seen our group and they're supporting their business left and right and trying to do everything we can to help promote not only Zapata's but every business downtown
And everybody loves Zapata.
oh yeah. I mean, they're a great spot.
Yeah, and I can personally say that I've discussed this with many people about the patio being open. You know, they used to do the spits down there, you know, where they do those mini tacos.
Mhm.
Thought it was a fabulous event, time downtown.
So, and like I mentioned, I haven't had a chance to talk to Chico or Manuel about Zapata's participating this year. I hope they do, but you know, once we're able to lock that down for sure, one way or the other, that's when we'll let people know. But just a real quick run through of this year as far as what we have confirmed at this point. So we're gonna, like we typically do of the past 3 or 4 years, we're gonna start on the Texas side with Cafe Lucille, Pecan Point. I'm not sure if they've done a name change, but it used to be Barrage Bikes on the corner.
Yeah.
I went into those guys probably a month or two ago at this point and apologized to them because up until like 3 months ago, it hadn't even occurred to me, but hey, Barrage Bikes is right there. Yeah, they're not truly like a stop. They don't have food or whatever,
Yeah.
but they're a downtown business, and we want to support them. So I talked to those guys like, hey, we'll rent a table or whatever you need to sit up over by Pecan Point and Cafe Lucille and promote your business and that sort of thing. The same way it goes for Vintage Vibe, which is a new clothing store on the Texas side down from Campbell and Co. And just trying to get their exposure, and they, well, what do we got to pay to be involved in it? So absolutely nothing. Just like we'll rent you a table, like whatever you need.
So
Yeah, so outside
basically,
downtowners.
Yeah,
you go
Yeah.
basically from the courthouse going back to the north to
Front Street.
Texas
Yeah.
Boulevard going west,
Roughly,
and then back all the way to what going east, past Hopkins, past the car antique car.
so probably like Berman Far area. Yeah, and if anybody in those businesses in that footprint that we haven't contacted, like we're working our way to you. I don't want anybody to ever feel left out or be upset at us because I was literally texting some people this week about Johnny B's. I know they're not open
Oh, yeah.
during the time of our event, and truth be told, we've never included them, partly because they're not open.
Well, yeah, there's
during the
open
time.
during the morning and the afternoon.
Yeah, but
Like,
to that same point, they're a downtown business, and that's
Yeah.
what the focus of this event is
Yeah.
contributing back to
And I've
downtown.
ate breakfast down there. Great,
Yeah.
great breakfast.
And
I just haven't had lunch or anything after lunch, so
but I
for breakfast.
I've
I
had
don't know how-
I had breakfast at lunch though.
Yeah, I got it, because you don't get up till 11:30.
No, that was just a one-time thing.
Okay.
Actually, that was probably more my wife than me. My new schedule, I usually get up pretty early.
but like Johnny B's. I mean, for instance, I do not know if they were interested in being involved. I don't know at this point how we would be able to include them. I mean, essentially they'd have to cater somewhere or something like what we do for the boutiques that some of them do have their doors open that night because in previous years it's been on Friday night, and we try to coordinate with Main Street Texarkana having their Downtown Live, which is the second Friday of every month. And it kind of somewhat resembles Destination Downtown in that all the businesses keep later hours. There's artists on the street. They might have a band playing here or there, but we try to coordinate with them in previous years to help support and promote Downtown Live.
Is there any way that kill that? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Where's this come from?
Did you do that?
It must have been your ghost.
Is there any way to calculate the increase in foot traffic down there, or it's kind of just a visual?
So to that point, and something that I'm probably going to propose, I don't know if it's going to happen this year because truth be told, it's been a nightmare trying to get this event going this year. But as a civil engineer, I work with a bunch of municipalities, and she probably will end up watching this. Stephanie with the city of Keogh, she's the mayor up there. She's very involved with Keogh and promoting Keogh and having events, and she's introduced me to some new technology with AI that you can track where people are from. Like you can basically like lasso an area through this program, and you're able to know like where these people are from. Obviously, they have to have their location settings turned on their phone because that's anybody and everybody that wants to grab that information that has technology can and is doing it. It's not just us. But she mentioned that is a excellent resource for
To
being
just
able to figure
try to
out.
find out if people, yeah, I could say I've been down to Hopkins several times saw out-of-state license plates and eventually talked to some of those individuals, and they came down there because of the internet. I mean, they were looking for someplace to go. Now, that they didn't tell me exactly how they got there or what they were viewing to get there, but something made them, or a algorithm told them there's some stuff to
Do
downtown.
Yeah.
How much for broadband internet around downtown?
Oh, I have no idea. That's more your expertise. Yeah, I'm just a very simple man.
That will bring them downtown.
Yes.
And I'm
It
sure
would.
there's probably things in the works. Like, I mean, the city's always, people want to bash both cities all the time about, my potholes in my roads and all this other stuff. But if people could truly get an eye or a view behind the curtain to know just how much work and how much planning is going on for the future and things like that, that don't get announced maybe on the schedule that people want to see, but it's in the works. It just, there's so much logistics and work that goes behind those sort of things that it's difficult. They don't want to advertise it and then like, oh, well, we're running into a hiccup and we can't do it for another 6 months, that kind of thing. So.
But I think baby steps are a better way.
Yeah.
Just because if you throw out something major and pay major and it doesn't do well, you kind of you drain yourself on one thing versus trying a lot of small things. And I see that happening more.
Yeah, and that kind of circling back to Destination Downtown, I mean, that's why we have been very, very methodical and thought out about, like I said, every year we turn up the volume just a little bit on what we do and we try out something new, because what I've told our group before is like, look, if we don't fail at something, we weren't pushing the cuff enough. Like, we don't want to overextend ourselves. That's why I'm like, the first year we did the event, we probably could have got some sponsorships and had a band that cost us $20,000, but we wanted to be very methodical and say, hey, let's see what works. Let's do this. Let's do that, and adjust as we're doing it. Because, like I said earlier, I mean, my personal ultimate goal is to have multiple streets downtown. We already closed down like 1.5, but have it be like a pedestrian type event. Have stages set up in multiple locations. Have bigger like headliner type bands at those locations. But we're not there yet. So, for instance,
and you need the public support. I know has been an issue from time to time, because I've discussed it many times with a lot of people. Hey, that was a great band, and there was the participation from the local wasn't that good.
Yeah. I mean, people oftentimes are quick to gripe, but they're not quick to go and support and help out with stuff. But to that point also, every year we've done this event for, like I said, the past 7 years, I've had no less than 10 people come up to me and like, hey, look, I misjudged downtown, or I've been really wanting to try Verona, but I've heard that they're super expensive, which they're not. I mean, you're paying for great food. I mean, in my opinion, as far as the food goes, I'm a sucker for pasta, so I love me some Verona. But the night of our event, it allows you to get just a little sample of what Verona has, and hopefully, and that's the goal, is to bring back repeat customers for these downtown businesses that are like, hey, we hadn't checked this out, but we wanted to, or whatever. And that's the ultimate goal, is to support downtown.
Well, I think y'all, in the last 2 years, kind of when y'all kind of merged young professionals into this other entity, seen a great influx of things to do, and bands, opportunities, events.
Oh yeah. We have the Weenie Dog race this year.
And it did wonderful.
Oh yeah, I was very surprised. That was and Natalie Copeland and I can't remember whose idea it was, but we were sitting inside Hawkins one day, like not last year, but year before or something like that, and both of us are animal lovers, and somebody walked in with a weenie dog, and either one or the other of us popped off and said, you know what would be hilarious is if we had a weenie dog race in front of Hopkins. And that just kind of, honestly, that's how a lot of our
But-
events and ideas come to fruition.
So,
Word of
at
mouth.
some point, well, at some point, somebody had to take that by the reins.
Yeah,
and say,
I mean-
we're going to
Oh,
do
yeah,
it.
well-
Yeah, yeah.
And this past year when we had the first event in April, I think it was November or something time frame that we were having a board meeting, and I brought it up and I was like, look, if we're going to do this weenie dog race, we need to get serious about it because it is going to be a little bit of a logistical nightmare. And it, at times, I'm sure there's a bunch of people that said that everything went smoothly and so forth. Well, events never go truly smoothly. And there were certainly some hiccups, and like, I'm very stressed out during events, so I can be a jerk. Sorry.
I want to say as an outsider that, not on any of your committees or boards or anything, some of those people need to put them weenie dogs on a diet.
There was one
There
whose
was-
belly
Yeah,
was dragging
yeah.
the ground.
Diet.
Oh,
That's all I got
well,
to say.
and we have already got on the calendar for the city as far as the Weenie Dog Race 2.0. Let me go ahead and make sure I don't lie to everybody on the actual date, but it will be in April
Of next year.
of 2026, April 11th of 2026. That's what we're looking at for Weenie Dog Race 2.0, and we're still looking to have it at
Well,
Hopkins.
I'm thinking about buying a weenie dog.
Oh yeah, you go ahead and start training now.
Training right now.
Make him listen to Eye of the Tiger every night.
Man,
Yeah.
my dog Snoop will smoke all those dogs.
Well, is it a weenie dog?
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
Well,
I mean,
It
we
don't
have-
Shih
matter,
Tzu's
man.
about the same. you
We
know,
do.
It's not.
Yeah.
We did
Oh,
have
yeah,
a wiener
they-
bee race.
yeah,
that,
yeah.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
other dogs
Yeah.
besides,
No, but
because we were the cutest
Why don't
couple
you just
there.
buy?
So,
Why don't you just buy a Great Dane and run it?
I got
Well,
too many dogs.
it's gonna have to be a very skinny Great Dane because I think we had a 35-pound
Yeah.
weight limit.
It's
or something like that.
transitioning to a.
But yeah, we try to do stuff like that around town to make things fun. I mean, obviously it all kind of started with Destination Downtown and takes it to downtown what it started as. But
Yeah.
we have a golf tournament that helps us to fund scholarships for local high school seniors, and this fall we're looking into doing it for college students because it's going to sound weird, but I was fortunate enough to have to pay for my own college, and it teaches you a lot of lessons, not only about money management, but
Yeah.
having to work for what you get. But going into the spring semester, a lot of times it's tough being able to like, oh man, I got this
Yeah,
$8,000 bill or whatever that the college is about to hit me with. How am I going to pay for that? I've been working whatever all fall, but we're looking at doing scholarships for some of our local college students to try to help relieve a little bit of that burden. I mean, we're not sending anybody on a full ride or anything like that, but I mean,
Doing what
anything
you
helps.
can where you can. Okay.
Yep, yep.
And you're absolutely correct. Anything, buy books, or I don't do books anymore. Is it all computer?
I have no idea.
But whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, tablets, I guess. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
something. But yeah, and
So to kind of wrap up, I think, Caleb Mudford, lifetime resident other than your little stint up
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Oklahoma, who now is, what's your position with, this?
Civil engineer, right?
Civil.
Yeah.
But,
project manager.
And with, the links,
So I'm the vice chair.
vice
As far
chair
as
of
the
links,
title,
and everybody can find them at,
Link TXK at Facebook, or you can email us at lnktxk@gmail.com.
and with that, you can follow up on, where, upcoming events.
Yes.
If anybody wants to, provide their time or services
Mm-hmm.
or, what, anything like that, they can,
Just
sign
reach out or
up, reach
sign up.
out.
And to that point, I'm not a very good salesman, and I'm probably honest more than I should be. But our group, yes, we'd love for everybody to be involved. But if you come to some of our events and you don't like it, you might be wrong. But
You are wrong.
We want to get you plugged in whatever you're passionate about, and that's why we have several different programs. But if you come up to me or Natalie or whoever on our board after an event, like, look, like I had a good time, but this not really my group, I'm not really feeling it.
What is
What I
your
always
group?
say, you better have a follow up to that and
Yeah.
say, but I am passionate about
Right.
Habitat for Humanity or Alzheimer's Alliance or Harvest Food Bank. We'll get you connected with somebody.
If you didn't recognize this,
So do some soul searching, basically.
Rahul and I are passionate about drinking.
No, yeah.
So,
well, yeah.
I mean, it's sports.
Yeah, pretty good at sports. Yeah.
So,
You're pretty good at sports. Or
No.
Okay.
Listening.
Let's clarify. Yeah.
I'm terrible at sports. I got a torn ACL. Well, a repaired torn ACL.
in
Texarkana Pickleball Club.
and I said that about us, but there's many family restaurants downtown.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned them earlier, but I mean, there's only a couple of bars,
Yep.
but most of them are food.
Plenty of
drink.
coffee shops. You got
Yeah.
Alley Cat, Stain Page. They participate in Destination Downtown. Oddly enough, I haven't talked to either one of them about Destination Downtown this year, but I highly expect that they'll want to participate. I mean, you got little boutiques, like I said, Moonstone and Moss. They're right next to our office. Miss Irma with her dressmaker shop. If you need alterations or whatever, the Vintage Vibe, they got a neat little thing going on. I can't remember the name of the guy that just behind TLC who has some of the best fries in Texarkana. But he's got a small little shop that has a few like clothing items and Hot Wheels of all things. I was talking to him with Destination Downtown last year, and it's amazing. He said that people come from like Tyler for his like selection of kind of odd and end type stuff that those people that don't necessarily want to order it online or whatever, they want to experience like, going to the shop and seeing what all you got.
And you also you mentioned earlier the arts.
Mm-hmm.
1893, and I've been in there on the first floor. Probably, I had to talk to David about that, but there's probably a dozen different local artists that
Yep, they have their own little booths. And,
booths,
Yeah.
display their own thing, maybe more, maybe
How do you go
less.
about getting a booth if you're an artist? Or
I can't, you put me on the spot. I can't remember the lady's name that runs the 1894 gallery, but obviously their hours are posted on Google, and you can pop in there and say, "Hey, I'm an artist. Here's probably some samples of my work. What does it take to get a booth in here?"
And they're not the only ones that they have that place next to Logan's.
Joseph Raymond.
Joseph Raymond.
And there's I think it's Olive Street Antiques that's also in the 1894 building, and they just have some real neat, like I'm a sucker for history, and they got a bunch of like antique items in there that you can check out and different jewelry and that kind of thing. Not that I'm cross-dressing in downtown on the weekends, but you know,
But
if
I wanted
to, I can pop off in there.
And they have the sisters down there that do an art event about once a year that they kind of get David and all the local people together. I know Tyler Arnold from Little Rock displays
Yeah.
art down there. I mean, it's a
he did a great Kobe Bryant painting.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Would you like it?
I was gonna buy it, but it's out of my price range. And then when I inquired about the next time, I was married. So
I'll
Hey,
ask
you got
if
sugar
still-
mama. Come on now.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll ask you if you
I do not.
If you're watching, we need money.
yes. So we can buy a Kobe Bryant
Right,
painting.
yeah.
Lakers, by the way. I mean, she got me this shirt
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
It's a good meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to have you.
Well,
Yeah,
appreciate y'all having me
We
on.
love
and enjoy the drinks.
insight.
And
I think that anybody that watches this learns more about you, learns more about what your group is trying to accomplish. what y'all have accomplished and what your kind of your future is. So
Yep.
I think that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, we'll definitely
We appreciate it.
do what we can to help you out on this.
No, I appreciate
If we
it.
can, you want to take this show on the road to downtown, and then we'll
I think that'd be a great idea that we
Yeah.
were talking about before. That
right,
maybe is a kind of a build up to DD that we
yeah,
maybe ask some of these business owners if they'd sit in with y'all and talk about their business.
Well,
And
we have discussed.
Yeah, we
because
definitely
we know
discussed
we know them all. So.
no,
y'all know him.
I do.
Well, I mean, I know him too, but
Yeah.
you know him better. So.
I don't know about that. You're the beer guy. You walk in and they're just ready for you.
But that's just Hopkins, though. That's, I was at in like 08 and 09 before all this stuff started happening.
I have somebody over here to the right that knows pretty much everything about everything.
Oh yeah, how's it work that the prettiest person here isn't even on camera?
Next time.
Yeah, cornbread
Yeah.
coming in quick. But
So appreciate you.
thank y'all.
Love you,
Love you more.
and I
Yeah.
hope that this gets out to somebody that can share it, that they can learn more about what's
Oh.
going on.
Yeah, I hope so. And like, if anybody that wants to get involved, reach out to us on Facebook, link TXK. We're easy enough to find. I mean, if we don't get back to you quick, I mean, please-
LNKTXK.
Yes.
Yeah.
LNKTXK.
Yeah,
we just
not-
call it link. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
But if you email us and we don't get back to you within a couple days, we apologize. But we all
It wound
have
up in
jobs.
spam. Yeah.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, appreciate you. Love you. Appreciate you, sir.
All right.